Elaine from the Buying Space channel. Today and tomorrow I'll do unboxings at 3:30 on my channel. And they're pre-recorded unboxings. They're unboxings from about a year ago, but all of my unboxings, almost, are purchases from YouTube resellers that do auctions on YouTube. And they're a community. And one of the members of our community is Angie's Oddities. And Angie's a wonderful reseller. She sells with Tooch Man, and sometimes she's on East Coast resellers. And, well, she sells a little bit of everywhere. So I've had this box from her for quite some time. Gotten behind on my unboxings. I'm scheduled, my unboxings are scheduled for about a year out. So what I've been doing is slowly unboxing what I get, because I'm kind of in the catbird seat with it as far as having to do it. So I've been doing some of them live. So it's like a bonus unboxing. So we have a nice big bubble wrap. So we might have something fragile in here. Good morning, Crystal. How you doing? I was just looking at that radio I bought from you. Actually, the battery finally died in it. The battery worked forever. So we got 2 items in here, and it's working again. I bought a Crystal was one of the sellers that I bought from on YouTube. That's all that's in here. This is from Angie's Oddities, if you didn't hear, Crystal. Let me go ahead and put this over there too. So we got 2 items here. But Angie was working as an interpreter and doing parts of reselling part-time, and she didn't really like her day job. So now she's full-time. I guess I'll go ahead and cut this tape up here too. And she's very smart. She's one of the, even before she went full-time with reselling, every, I think it's Sunday night, she does, you know how people at the end of the auction will say, well, I'm going to be here next, I'm going to be there next, you know, this and that. She has, she puts a regular video out every week, letting everyone know. I believe it's Sunday afternoon or evening. Oh, how cute. Where's she going to be all week? And who's she going to be with? Very nice. Clear little creamer. It's crystal clear. I don't know if it's crystal. It's too heavy to be crystal, but it's very nice, substantial glass. I don't know why that looked red through the bubble wrap, but it's that one did too. So this one will probably be clear. Oh, the bubble wrap inside is pink. That's what it is. But she ships efficiently. She knows how to wrap fragile items. I love these bubble wrap bags. So there's the sugar and creamer set. I don't know why for a while I just went gaga over sugar and creamer sets. Now this is etched. It has a pattern on it. Let me see. So does this. We get a piece of paper or something to show you the pattern that's on there. Has anyone else come in? Good morning, TV. Good to see you. Oh, good morning, Wisdom. And good morning, Dawson. So good to see you all. I am not good at names. I will tell you that right now. And race to him. Should that be a capital H? Or is that, are you a religious channel? Race to him? Oh, only the best TV. Okay, that's weird content, but hey, to each his own. Um, Good morning, Miles Turner. We've got a sugar and creamer set here. But I'm going to go ahead and get a piece of paper so you can see the etching on the inside. You put my foot over here to lean stuff against it. I'll be right back. I mean, I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just looking for the paper. Okay. It's not where I used to have it. Interesting. I wonder if white paper would work well. It's about the right size. Okay, let's see. Let's turn it. It's like you can see the shadow. It's a beautiful leaf pattern. Very classy, very nice. Let's look at it on this one. I think it's going to be the same thing. Yeah. Something like this. I understand why she sold this at auction. Something like this is very hard to show on a photo, to sell, like an eBay. I'm sure she's got eBay store too, but she invoices and ships professionally, and now she's full-time. And her channel name is Angie's Oddities, and I do believe hang on a sec. I do believe I have. I hope it doesn't take me too long to find. Let me see. I've got all kinds of business cards. I don't want to show anybody else's business card right now, just because This is about Angie right now. Look at all these beautiful thank you cards. Okay, let me see. I don't think I'm going to locate it. I need to make me a little book of all these stickers and thank you cards. And that way, when I do an unboxing, I can show everybody. Hers is shaped a little differently. And I have it somewhere else. Excuse me. Let's see what's in here. But goodbye, NC Angie. Oh, this is jewelry. Okay, let me see who's in here. Okay. Hello, Miss Dawson. Well, I'm having to delete trolls. How are you? Everybody else, welcome in, welcome in. No making references to putting items up your you know what, even if it's like only the best jelly beans. uh, that's just kind of bizarre. I was hoping one of my moderators would show up this morning. Matter of fact, one of them said they would, and they are not here. So I don't know what I'm going to do about my moderators. The people that I have as moderators are wonderful people. It's just that I need them to show up during my hour. And the thing is, or however long I'm on, I have items to sell, and I'd love to have a live auction. And I've got some excellent people as moderators, but they're not here for me to have the auction. And Monday and Tuesday I had problems getting on, and Wednesday I was exhausted, so I didn't go on. So and I let everybody know it's going to be back today, and nobody's showing up here for me. As far as the people that I already have as moderators. And I talked about when after I took my break, I came back, and the first 3 days, none of my moderators showed up. So, and the third day, one of them did, but he's not an auction moderator. He's just a good friend from a certain community. He's like the best person that I know that likes me the most, and I like him the most from the drug community. And so he's not an auction moderator. So he's just, I'm going to hang out. I don't know if he's whacked a troll or not, but definitely if I'm going to have an auction, I need somebody that can do that for me. There's Tooch Man. So good to see you. I was feeling alone, even though there are people here, because I had a troll, and I was trying to do an unboxing, or did an unboxing. This is from Angie, from Angie's Oddities. Now, Tooch Man, he has auctions with Angie. Their auctions are on Wednesday. Is that right, Tooch Man? Are you on Wednesday now? They used to be on Thursdays. Now, today's Thursday. Are you having tonight? Good morning, Crystal. Crystal's been here. Are you having an auction tonight with East Coast resellers? Are you having your East Coast resellers in the evening auction tonight? And Sydney? Kidding. Good morning. Oh, okay, next Thursday night. So it's the last Thursday of the month. So are any of your other sales on Thursday? And Crystal, who are you going to be on with next? Because Crystal sells too. Matter of fact, I have this from Crystal. I have this hanging from 10 Commandments. And it's angels. And each little angel has a 10 Commandment on it. How wonderful is that? I think I'll show this on my Bible study on Sunday. It's little charms. And it's neat because on the back of each angel is the number of the commandment. So this is the 4th commandment. And that's just so cute. I bought that from Crystal. First, third, and fourth Wednesday with Angie, and second Thursday of the month with East Coast resellers. But next Thursday you have East Coast resellers. I'm confused. Next Thursday. See, is this Thursday? Is today the last Thursday of the month? Which one of those is your Tucha Glass? Is Tucha Glass tonight? Sunday at 3:30 Eastern, but not this Sunday. Still on vacation. Oh, how exciting. Did you do a staycation? Or are you out somewhere? My vacations are almost all staycations now. I live in a city. Good morning, Christian Enoch. I'm sorry you can't see anything. I'm not showing that I'm clocking or anything. Anyone else, not able to see anything? Oh, okay. So Tucha Glass is also on Wednesday now. So your selling nights with Angie are on Wednesday. That's cool. Jacksonville has a lot of stuff you can do. We have tourist destinations. We are losing our Museum of Science and History this fall, and we're losing the Jacksonville Orchestra that's with JU. We're not losing the city orchestra yet, but we did lose one of the college orchestras because of budget cuts. Okay, extra night. Okay. Oh, congratulations, Crystal. Happy birthday. Going to see your son. That is sweet. Yeah, my remaining nuclear family is here, and my much of my well, a portion of my father's extended family is in Northeast Florida as well. It probably seemed like a vacation, just go have a barbecue or something with them. Bye. Have a nice day. Sorry I didn't say hi quick enough. I'm not sure about some of these names because some names are like uh, Mike and then a capital Hunt, kind of thing. And I'm not sure about saying that name. The real Sprout, good morning. Good to see you. New people are welcome in. I guess I just have to admit. Good morning, Chris. I did an unboxing. I did an unboxing from Angie's Oddities. Angie Oddities is an auction channel. She just went full time. She quit her day job and she seems really happy about it. But she offers a lot of nice stuff. This is etched glass, and this is a sugar and creamer. But I do unboxings here and Bible readings. Is that a statement or a question, Tooch Man? I was afraid to say that name. See, when I'm on other people's channel and somebody comes in that's suspect like that, I'll click on their name. I'll go to their channel. And since I do this on my phone, I would have to leave my live to go check out the person's channel. And I did that for Donatella, Bartolino, and T, uh, 4 or 5 years ago. And I was like their invisible security guard. I would click on everybody that came in, and if they were a good channel, I would, network with them. And if they were a suspect, I would message one of them and say, I think this person's a troll, or this person only has no content and their account's only been active for 2 weeks. I'll give them information because, and when I try to say a name and it sounds like something else, I did have a troll right before you came in that I nixed. He said, or she said something like putting only the finest jelly beans up there, what. And I was like, okay. I mean, they didn't say the what name, but they just put up, up, or yeah, they said up my dot, dot, dot. So it didn't take me long to catch on to that. Oh, Chris, it's so good to see someone from Australia. Um, my adult child with autism seems to get along with people from Australia and New Zealand. They've been friends with people, this one lady in New Zealand, for, I guess, well over a decade, maybe a decade and a half now. It's so funny. Time is one of those things. It's like, oh, how in the world did I lose track of so much time? It's just gone, and it flies by. The older you get, what they say, that is so true. It just flies by. Um, you know, weeks turn into minutes. Oh, thank you so much for, and I'm not sure how to pronounce that name. Maybe I'll figure it out later. I don't really have time for it now. I'll ask Google. I do take a lot of advice from Google. I have been kind of resistant to using AI, because, well, I just am. When I was, oh gosh, this is really going to make people know how old I am. But when I was 10 years old, good morning, Love Day. What a cute name, Love Day. I love this day. And but anyway, the calculator became available for use when I was 10. So this is how old I am. But anyway, I don't know who this is on this sticker, but anyway, the teachers had a debate whether they were going to allow us to use calculators or not, because we would be less likely to be able to do math in our head, which, was absolutely true. And now people, they they have AI to do everything for them, some people. And I think, you just increase your dependence on tools that have to be paid for to think, and people don't think for themselves anymore. Trying to figure out who this is. Going through these cards and stickers, and I found this. I don't believe this is Angie. See if you can read her t-shirt. Yeah, so the teachers were thinking, okay, if they use calculators, oh wow. Well, no reason to be afraid, Chris. I should have said at the beginning that everything that's on my channel, I not only do lives, and I go to auctions and do unboxings, I also do Bible readings. So it's you don't have to be afraid. You're not alone. Somebody came in here one morning, and there was nobody else here, and hadn't been nobody else here for a minute. And the person said to me something like, "Nobody cares about you." And I didn't hesitate. Did not hesitate 1 second. I said, "God cares about me," and immediately bounced them, because that's the way it is. I believe in God. I believe in Jesus Christ, and I'll never be alone, because God is always with me. Christ is always with me. I have the Holy Spirit. So I'm not afraid of much, definitely not afraid of life. I have chronic pain, and life is kind of cruel to me sometimes. When I get a high pain level, I get exhausted easy. I'm older. I've been struggling with diabetes for quite a while, and all of that can make you exhausted. So this has. I need to get business cards. I've got stickers, and the funniest thing happened when Dave, good to see you. Yoda there, Yoda's Blessed Life. I met, well, actually, I've known him for years. When he was with his former partner, is when I met him. And now he's moved on from that. And they both, it's hard for YouTubers to be together and break up, and then they both have their own channel later. But they've both been successful after the breakup. And it didn't get too messy. I will say that, I was happy with the level of maturity that Dave showed, and also his ex. But I hang out with him at David Lynn Prepper Principal, and David Lynn is a retired principal who is also teaching now. And during the summer, he sends out, well, actually all year long, he sends out packages of items that you can use for survival. And so I don't know if Yoda's channel is completely prepper. I know that his icon there is the Michelangelo version of Jesus. And he's a Christian man, and I appreciate that. So, I don't know what in the world I was saying. Oh, I was talking about AI. I'm resistant to use AI because when I was growing up, I did math in my head. Now, my grandfather, my father's father, he owned a grocery store. He was a postmaster. He was a farmer. He had a little personal coal mine. He grew apples. He grew tobacco. He grew all kinds. He had a family garden. He grew a little bit of everything in addition to being a postmaster, in addition to being a grocery store owner, in addition to being an accountant for a larger grocery in the county seat. And he could take rows and rows of numbers, 1 digit, 2 digit, up to 5 digits, and add them all in his head. And my brother inherited his gifts as far as mathematics. My brother was doing square roots by the age of 9 in a county, a small rural county in West Virginia. And there was only one teacher in that school, in our elementary school, that knew what in the world he was talking about when he's talked about square roots. So he kind of did this study independently. And anyway, but I was taught how to do math, how to estimate in my head at a very young age. So, okay, I'll see you in a minute. And it was a talent. And, I still, when I go through a drive-through or I go make a purchase, and I can estimate, and I still use cash, I can still estimate how much change I should get. And sometimes I'll, if the total is, let's say, $5.83, I will give them $6. Now, let me not be able to do it in my head. And 8 cents. Now, why would I give them $6.08? Does anybody know? Good morning, Leah. So good to see you. Why would I give them $6.08 when my total is $5.83? That's true. The little ones are still asleep. I'll remember those days. And it's summer. Yeah. When do you all go back to school, or do you? Some places have school all year round. Some of my favorite times with Marty when they were in school is when we sat and waited for the school bus. Because Marty was very distractible, very energetic child. And that time when we both were alone in the car with no computers, no TV, course, we didn't have cell phones all that much when Marty was little, but we would talk, and I would ask them about their day from the previous day. I would ask them what they felt they needed for that day. Of course, I was before we got to the car. And the evening before, we would do homework if there was any homework to be had. And, but anyway. Oh no. Yep, that happens. You just never know. You have to have eyes in the back of your head. Oh, I'm so sorry your babies are sick. Good morning, K Art and Craft. It's so good to see you. How are you doing this morning? K Art and Craft has a wonderful channel. I love going to their channel. They do drawings, and they show you how to do the drawings, and I really enjoy it. It's very relaxing to me. I never have got out pencil and paper. Okay, well, have a good day. Give them lots of sugar and tell them you love them. It's so hard when your babies are sick. I mean, Marty's an adult now, and they've been in the hospital a couple of times this year. And even when they're, um, an adult, when your child's an adult, of course, Marty's a little different. Marty has an autism spectrum disorder. So, in some ways, they're like an adult, in some ways, they're like a child. But when, you have little babies like that are sick, it's hard. You know, it's, I hope that she has a support as far as someone, like her mom still alive or a husband or somebody that can help her with those babies because that's so hard. I did, my parents lived across town, and my brother and his wife lived across town when Marty was a baby. And then when Marty was about in kindergarten, my brother and sister-in-law moved away. So we lost half our support system. But my husband was only there for 2.5 years of Marty's life, and that was rough. But we had to make a lot of decisions. I mean, almost daily. When you have a child with special needs, it just keeps coming at you. And, it's stuff up the nose every day for, years. But Marty's, turned out really well. I'm really proud of Marty. But, it's just still very rough when your child, um, if you have a special needs child, they're called a forever child for a reason. And now that Marty's an adult, they're still dependent upon me. And, but as I've grown older, I've become somewhat dependent upon Marty. So Marty does chores and that kind of thing. So we help each other. Good morning, Judy May. Oh, I love Judy May. Judy May eats all these weird things. She calls it the crazy lady thing. Um, I kind of enjoy your real recipes too, not just when you sit there and eat like a hot pepper with yogurt or whatever combination. Have you done that one? Have you done hot peppers with yogurt? But Judy has a cat and a dog. Her dog's name is Jax, or JAX, which is funny because I live in Jacksonville, and our airport is JAX International Airport. It's also called JIA, is the initials for, every airport has a three initial abbreviation. Our airport is JIA, and our city, 3-letter abbreviation is JAX. Yeah, that is. Marty has autism, and it took them a little longer to talk, but once they started to talk, it was kind of nonstop. So by 10, Marty had, Marty was diagnosed with ADHD first, and then autism, or what used to be known as Asperger's syndrome. And when they started talking, they did not be quiet ever. So it could be that it's a phase. Good morning, Roll Call Cabin. Roll Call Cabin's one of my regular people. He has built a cabin out in his. He has this wooded area, and has built a cabin with his hands and chainsaws. And he's constantly having to unblock the road or the creek. And I kind of gotten used to hearing the sounds of the chainsaws. And through all this flooding in the mountains, he's had to do a lot of clearing. And he goes down to the creek and he'll play ASMR at the creek, and he has campfires and campfire lives. Yeah, it is. It's rough. When Marty was little, and they would flail, or they would be in danger of just moving around so much that they might strike somebody. I told Marty to put in their arms and tuck in their feet like a turtle. And you know how a turtle goes back into its shell. And so I would just say turtle. And Marty would bring their arms in across their chest and bring up their legs, so they would know. They would pretend to be a turtle, so their arms and legs and everything weren't moving all around, because it's real easy to inadvertently hit someone. And your child not knowing all those social rules is also is a thing for sure. Um, Marty wanted to play baseball, and I put Marty on a baseball team, I think when they were 8 years old. And all the little boys weren't really accepting. Wow, 3 months old. See, when Marty was born, their diagnosis wasn't in the diagnostic manual, but for a few months, because Marty has what used to be known as Asperger's syndrome. It's all called autism spectrum disorder now. But on the baseball team, all the little boys were punching each other on the shoulder, smacking each other on the back. And Marty, at the time, Marty was actually, I should just say, Marty's non binary, and they don't identify as male or female now, but they were born female. So here's this, 8-year-old girl on a baseball team, and everybody else on the baseball team is a little boy. And Marty didn't realize that her behavior at the time had to be different because she was a girl and she was in a situation where she was a minority. So she went up and punched a little boy on the arm. And it kind of made him sway, she really punched him hard, but all the little boys were punching each other hard and slapping each other hard. I mean, it wasn't a continuous thing. So this little boy happened to be the grandson of the guy that owned the team, and she humiliated him. So Marty didn't get to play baseball. Absolutely. Yeah, I was grateful to have Marty. Absolutely grateful. And the thing is, them not knowing social rules, all the people that are on the spectrum, there are some social rules that Marty didn't get or adapt in our society that were negative. Like, Marty was totally and completely colorblind. Never treated anybody differently that was different sex, different race, different age. Matter of fact, one of the things that happened when Marty was 6 years old was they were waiting in the office to see the principal, and that happened quite frequently. And the secretary stepped away, and Marty had been sitting there observing the secretary for quite some time, and the phone rang. And when the phone rang, Marty went over, picked up the telephone for the school, and said, "This is such and such elementary school. How may I help you?" So Marty did not see age or race or gender or any of the differences. Oh, that's so sweet, Leah. I remember those milestone days. I miss having a young one. I really do. Good morning, Scarlett. So good to see you. Scarlett's from the United Kingdom. Scarlett and I have known each other for years. Yeah, we're talking about Leah's baby this morning. She's got at least 2 little ones and one on the spectrum. And just being, a mom and having a child with an autism spectrum disorder, I so relate to what you're going through. But Marty's upbringing was a little different. I mean, there was a doctor, forget her name. She was from the University of Utah. And they were classifying people on the spectrum. Like one of the things that people on the spectrum have usually, what she said was, if you've met one person with autism, you've met one person with autism, which means that majority of people with autism are on the spectrum. They're all unique. Now, there are certain classifications of people, or symptoms, I should say, that people get. And one of the things that goes on is sensory defensiveness. Oh, good morning, baby. I'm smiling back. But if you touch Marty gently on the arm, especially when they were little, they've adapted over the years. They acted like you hit them when you were just barely touching them. So you had to, when you touched Marty, firmly touch Marty, like on the arm. Yeah, that's rough. That's very rough to be in another state. I hope the education system in North Carolina holds. Now that the Department of Education's been defunded and pretty much closed, how the funding works is like Texas is a richer state. So Texas was sending in more money to the Department of Education than it would get back. And right now, or when Marty was in school, and I don't know how long this is going to last because your baby's a baby right now. Each child in the public school system that had that was considered disabled or handicapped. So those words are somewhat antiquated, but anyway, they would get an IEP, an individual education plan, and each child would get a score, and that score depended upon or help the school receive the funding that was needed to support that child in the accommodations they needed to learn. Marty had a one-on-one paraprofessional, and that person made $14,000, and they had benefits. So the school would get funding to pay that paraprofessional from the it's not the IEP, IDEA funding. So you know, the school got special equipment, a paraprofessional, all kinds of things because Marty was there. And sometimes those resources were used for the whole classroom or the whole school. Yeah, it is. It's hard to shop. And I don't know if you, one of the things that happened to me when I took Marty to a mall, and they were like 2 years old, and I didn't take in a stroller or anything because they could walk. So I was having them get their exercise by walking in the mall, which was very brave of me. I wouldn't do it now. This was decades ago. But Marty did not want to leave. So I had to pick Marty up and put Marty under my arm. And Marty was screaming their head off. And people were looking at me like I was kidnapping my own child. So, yeah, it can get rough. People are judgmental. When Marty was young, there weren't a lot of people taking out their cell phones and filming such drama. I'm sure I would have been all over the internet when Marty was little. Another thing that happened is we would go to a swimming pool, and I talked about the sensory defensiveness. And you know how some people, it's hard for them to get in a pool and it's hard for them to get out just from, okay, good to see you back, Crystal. We're talking about children with special needs. So I would, Marty didn't want to go in. Like Marty had aqua therapy. So they had to be in the pool by a certain time. And anyway, when they got out of the pool, it was just as traumatic. You know how we all get out of the swimming pool and it's cold? Well, somebody on the spectrum doesn't deal with that well, doesn't deal with that well at all. So we would go in the dressing room and I would help Marty get dressed in their street clothes again. And there was one day that they didn't want to put their socks back on. So in hindsight, I should have just skipped the socks. But you don't want to ruin the tennis shoes, especially when they're straight out of the pool. So anyway, they were screaming bloody murder over having to put on their socks. And anyway, we were in the dressing room was off a pool, and you know how the acoustics are in a pool. You can just whisper and it bounces off the walls. And even though we were in a separate dressing room, the sound was coming through the door and it was probably echoing through the whole pool area. And I didn't realize how dramatic it was. And it echoed really bad in that small room too. But anyway, when we came out, Marty had a smile on their face. They were ready to go. They got over the socks thing, even though it was a highly unpleasant and far more lengthy experience than it needed to be. But we got it done, and we came out and everybody was staring at us. It was just like, oh no. So you have to leave. Good morning, Norma Kay. Yes, yeah, you have to work that out with the school. You should have when Marty was little, there was an evaluation done, and the classification then, now this was a long time ago, was developmentally delayed. So Marty went to a developmentally delayed kindergarten classroom. So they should work with you to put your child in the right setting with the right teacher. But I don't know how things are now. This was decades ago. Norm and I are chat buddies. We used to go to auctions together. We still do, and we go to bingo. We go to Monday night bingo for sure. Good morning, Claudette. Claudette is wonderful to everyone. She has given me more watch hours than I think anyone on the planet. And thank you, Claudette. I'm at 1,000. I'm over 1,000. Matter of fact, I'm at 1,400 now, but I'm still not monetized. So that's one of the reasons I decided to go live. The other reason was that I have usually about 20 packages. Since I still got incoming packages, I still usually typically have 20 packages that need unboxings or unboxing or unenveloping. And by the time that I unbox a few more come in because I'm still buying. And I'm to the point now that I don't really have to be buying anything. Uh, but I want to stay connected to the people I do unboxings from. And I'm also looking all the time to buy from new people because my channel, when I do the unboxings, is about reviews of how well resellers do and how good they are at customer service and invoicing and shipping and what the experience is like at the auction. Are they funny at the auction? I saw yesterday, I saw Jim and Julie McIntyre, and they go by their real names on YouTube. Don't freak out because I'm giving their legal names. But Jim is so funny, and I really enjoy being at an auction where Jim and Julie are. Matter of fact, I've bought from them this package I have coming from them right now. I bought from them because I joked that I was buying it to pay Jim for the jokes, because he's so funny. So I talk about sometimes how the experiences are at the auction. But I have enough packages now that I can do live unboxings and still have unboxings scheduled out for almost an entire year. I think I'm at 10 months now. I've been scheduling a few in June and July. But what I'll do, like Tooch Man, I buy from Tooch Man all the time. Okay, that's wonderful. Oh, my light went off there. I don't know what's my chandelier. I just put new bulbs in it, and it was for 3 years almost, over 2 years. It just had one bulb in it, and I found some bulbs on clearance, and so it has all 5 bulbs in it now. And now that it's got all 5 bulbs, and I need a couple of covers for it too. A couple of the globes that go over the lights are missing. And I don't want to go into how that happened, but we had an accident here. Let's just say that. Oh, I see something Christmas over here. I have a Christmas in July pre-recorded sale. Whoops. But anyway, like Tooch Man, I get a monthly box from Tooch Man. And if I end up, for some reason, not opening one of his box for a while, and I open one box one week and one box the next, that second opening or unboxing, I'll put in the next month because it's a monthly order. And I don't want, well, some people I have, like when I've got small orders from people like Jim and Julie, March of 2026 is Jim and Julie week. And that whole week is just unboxings from Jim and Julie. I might do that with Tooch Man, but for the most part, I open a box from Tooch Man. I schedule it on a month. It's usually 2 or maybe 3 parts because I get large orders from Tooch Man. And I'll spread it out, and like it'll be on a Monday or Tuesday, or it'll be on a Thursday or Friday. I have 2 days that I'm unenveloping or unboxing that order from Tooch Man. And I do the same thing with other East Coast resellers because I get large orders from them typically, or have in the past. And also with Stephanie Groves from Groves Bargain Emporium. And I've got from the West Coast resellers, I think I've unboxed everything from John the reseller. But I have at least 3 packages here from Angela Isaac, not Angie's Oddities, but the other Angela. Yeah, Judy May is a wonderful channel too. I love her slice of life stuff, and she does a little gardening and she harvests crops. And, I really enjoy Judy May. Yeah, it's like a family reunion in here. We just need little Debbie and Jennifer and Rhonda. I'm trying to think of all the people that were in that morning group. Let's see, Shadow Owl Woman. No, see, Cheryl is Owl Seeker, and Rhonda's Shadow Woman, but she has she loves owls and she has a lot of owl motif things, which is wonderful. Marty likes owls, so we ended up, if Rhonda and Cheryl and I were both all three in the chat and all bidding, it became a little intense when an owl came up for the longest time. I don't know if owls are just as popular at the auctions now. People have spread out. Oh, thank you. It's just, I don't know. It just seems like yesterday, that we were hanging out at Larry's first thing in the morning. And Rhonda tried to talk Larry into coming back on live. And he just, he did it a few times. He listened to her. He tried it. And then he went to once a week. And then he didn't like that either. So, and Victoria kind of did the same thing. Of course, Victoria is actively selling. Her and Ella are changing off what channels they're on with that auction. But Victoria did a morning show and then she took a break and then she came back and then she said, well, I'm going to come on live on this Fridays. So she did this Fridays for a while. And then she decided that the morning show wasn't worth it because when she goes live, she's, selling. And I can understand that. It's a living for her. With me, it's supplemental. And I pay my YouTube expenses and I try to supplement the purchases I make on YouTube when I sell. And I don't have to sell. It's just that, it just keeps the expenses of YouTube off of my regular budget for my family is what it does when I sell. And I don't really make all that much. Like, let me show you. Oh, that was free. This is a card holder. That's Mother Teresa. Now, I think I paid $2 for this card holder. It's a very nice card holder. It's porcelain. And of course, Mother Teresa is a saint. She helped poor people at the sacrifice of her own body, mind, spirit, all blood, sweat, and tears in helping the poor. And she is someone that we should emulate in our lives, at least a little bit, as far as being charitable with ourselves. But anyway, as far as this being an object that has value, I don't know if I went on eBay and looked for one of these, how much, it would cost. But I paid $2 for it. But then I paid shipping. And also, it sits here. Usually I have business cards in this. I just transferred the business cards to another thing looking for a sticker. But, I know where that sticker is. But I'll get that later. But anyway, so I probably have, this is another thing I think about. Because I think about what's good for the planet. Like if I order from Victoria, whose post office box is 9 miles away from mine, and she probably lives, well, I don't know exactly where she lives now. I had been to her house before she moved, and she moved a little further away. But let's be generous and say it would take me an hour to get at Victoria's. And I'll order from her. That package goes from the next county over to my county, or she mails it from her post office box. It goes from her post office to mine, which is only 9 miles. And then versus ordering, let's say from Nana Tink. Nana Tink, half the year is in Pennsylvania, the other half of the year she's in Florida, but she's downstate. So that package has to travel 150 miles instead of 9 miles. So it takes more gasoline to get me my items from Nana Tink, especially when she's in Pennsylvania, than me ordering from Victoria. So for the longest time, I ordered more from Victoria than I did Nana Tink's. But I ordered from Nana Tink's more so when she was in Florida. Right now, she's in Pennsylvania. In the winter, she'll be in Florida again. So I try to order from her when she's in Florida, although her deals are good, and I will order from Nana Tink's and when she's in Pennsylvania too. But anyway, this took time, energy, gasoline to get it to me. But also, if you have a house that's empty and you're air conditioning that house, and you're putting the thermostat, let's say, at 76, and because you want to be conservative. 76 in Florida is comfortable on the days that the heat index is 112 or 90. Anytime that the heat index or the actual temperature outside is 20 degrees higher than what you have your thermostat set up, sometimes your air conditioner, your central heat and air, is constantly running. Oh, is Craig here? Oh my goodness. How did I miss Craig coming in? I must have been talking on and on. Oh, you know Victoria. Adventures with Victoria used to be Adventures in Reselling. You know who Victoria is. Anyway, and we're not sure that he's here anyway. I'm just glad to see that you're awake, Craig. So anyway, if you take that same house and you fill it with furniture and books and boxes and just lots of stuff, glass, jewelry, pounds of jewelry, all the stuff in your kitchen, the food, everything, the appliances, it takes more electricity to cool that place because the coolness, or in the winter, the heat, disperses, and the objects in your space, we're talking about buying space, they take more energy. So, but also another thing is resellers, or people that have a lot of stuff, they'll go and they'll buy a storage unit. Now, if I went and bought a storage unit and I put Mother Teresa here in the storage unit, wrapped her up good, and put her in the storage unit, I would then be paying money to store this item and a bunch of other items. So the cost that I have into this business card holder would go up. And I really wouldn't know how much it was costing me. I mean, I'm not a math genius. Although I have admitted I can do math in my head. Oh, but anyway, I don't know who was here before. Nobody answered my question. If I had something, I went through and I bought something for $5.83. And instead of giving them $5.83 or just a flat $6, I gave them $6.08. Why would I do that? Nobody answered that question before. So I'm going to go ahead. Oh, that's the real Craig. I think there's only one person on the planet that knows the real Craig, and that would be Mrs. Landshark Pickle. But anyway, I would do that so they would give me a quarter back, an entire quarter, instead of change. So if I gave them a flat $6, they would be giving me 17 cents change. So you take the 17 and then you add up to the next quarter. So the difference between 17 and 25 is 8. So that's why I would give them $6.08. And I do that in my head all day long. If I go through a drive-through or I go someplace where I pay cash and they look at me funny. And the thing about people that were raised on the new math, where they had to write out everything, they don't have that ability to do stuff in their head, or they were raised with calculators or cell phones with calculators on them. So that's why I resist using AI, because I don't want to lose. And I've been pretty talented in my life as far as writing paragraphs and doing freeform writing and paraphrasing. If you write a research paper or you prepare a live where you're talking about something that's not common knowledge, something that you have to research. Like when I read Bible passages, I read the footnotes, I look at the scriptures, when I have time, I look at the scriptures that are related to it. Definitely my adult Bible studies on Sunday morning are this way. I do a little bit more study for those. That I look at parallel scriptures. In other words, Jesus quoted a lot of things from the Old Testament, from the old prophets, from David, from Psalms. So I'll go back and I'll read what Jesus says, and I'll go back and see what David or Daniel or whoever he's quoting from the Old Testament said, and see, and analyze it and say why I think Jesus was quoting David or Daniel or Jeremiah or whatever old prophet he was quoting at the time, and say why and what the spiritual connection is between the two. So, I'm very good at analysis and I'm very good at paraphrasing. And if I start using AI for those skills, because when I make a post on Facebook, it says, do you want AI to help you word this? Sometimes I'll look at what AI is saying and I'll reject what AI has given me, and I'll go back, and sometimes I might edit my writing a little because I'm using AI as a tool to teach me maybe something I'm missing. But sometimes when I do that, AI gets it completely wrong. What they write from what I've written is a completely different thing. And it's interesting to see, what those differences are. But anyway, I don't know if any of you have any interest in this, and I'm going on and on about it. AI has become part of our lives, and it is interesting to see some of the things that they propose. When I talk to Google, when I ask Google things, I use a lot when I'm doing research. I'll enter or ask for stuff that's in Hebrew. Sometimes I'll use Hebrew words or Hebrew names because I'm looking up a certain person from the Old Testament. And some of the responses I get are very funny. But, and I can't remember any of the Hebrew examples right now. But we have a doctor named Barnudi. And he is a world-class doctor. And he works in a building at a hospital in a different part of town. And every time I go over there, for some reason, there's a building named one thing, and then there's a building behind it named another thing. I always forget what building he's in. I always forget his suite number. So I'm driving along, and I'm at a stoplight, and I pick up the phone, and I ask for his. I say his name to Google to find out what building and what suite number, because I always forget and I always have to look it up on the way. Sometimes I'll have Marty look it up if I can't catch a stoplight, where I need to catch a stoplight, if you know what I mean, to do what I need to do. And oh, there's a peanut on the floor. Well, it's going to do, I believe, damage to me as an individual, because I'll forget how to paraphrase. If I let AI do all the work, just like the calculator. If you used a calculator all the time and you didn't learn to do math, the long way, you never would learn it. And you just become dependent upon it. What if your electricity goes off, or your cell phone goes dead, or you lose your computer from a power surge? Then what do? You have to do it in your head. So I don't want to lose the ability to be able to write and paraphrase verbally. So anyway, I was on the way to Marty's doctor's appointment, And I said this man's full name, which the last name is Barnuti. And the response I got from Google, now get this, was all the nudie bars within 30 miles of me. And I wanted Dr. Barnuti's suite number and building name. I told him that. He was just so amused by that. He tried not to laugh out loud, but he did. So, it's just kind of hilarious. I forget what it was the other day, and I just kept having to repeat it and repeat it, and Google never got me. It never got me. And I do have a bit of an accent, but not that big of an accent. When I was 10 years old, I decided that I was going to speak standard American English because I lived in an area that had thick accents, that had a regional accent that was very distinctive. And at 10, I decided I wanted to speak standard American English. And it's kind of amazing. I knew what standard American English was at 10. But anyway, so I started watching Walter Cronkite on the evening news. And I would repeat what Walter Cronkite would say about everything. So it was kind of funny. Good morning. Oh, that Norma's been in here. I'm sorry, Norma. So, it's I was the funniest little 10-year-old girl that talked to like Walter Cronkite. And, my family got mad at me. They got mad at me. What was it they used to tell me? They just felt like that I was acting like my upbringing wasn't good enough for me. And I don't know, I just had the knowledge that, people would judge me based upon my regional accent. And I had an uncle that worked at the Pentagon. And when I was a teenager, later, became upon the extended family, found out because my parents complained of the extended family about me being such a snoot. And my uncle that worked at Pentagon said, well, she's exactly right. He said in the entire Pentagon, besides me, we have one secretary that was from Pye, West Virginia, and she had the accent to go with it. And that she was the only support staff that wasn't military in the entire Pentagon at that time that my uncle worked there. And he said, they would get resumes from people in West Virginia, and back then that was everybody sent in paper resumes. They would just throw them in the trash. Just absolutely, positively discriminate and throw them in the trash because, they could get a secretary from New York City or Virginia that spoke standard American English. And so when I was 18 years old, I went to the next town over and rented a post office box there because my address was Turtle Creek, West Virginia. So when I made all my college applications and everything, I put Danville, West Virginia, because it sounded more normal. Because I knew from my uncle that worked at the Pentagon, my resume or my application or whatever I was putting in for anywhere outside of the state would probably be just tossed in the trash. And I knew that from him. But I also knew at the age of 10, without any input from my uncle that worked at the Pentagon, that was the case. I had seen enough of the world at that point to know. Yes, it is very hot here. I'm afraid it's hot in here, and the air conditioner just kicked on. And it's just like, what took it so long to kick on? Yeah, yeah, I'm envious of people in Wales and Scotland. You're getting a very nice climate there now, and as temperatures change, as time marches on, it used to be. I've heard this recently that wine country was in France, and now France is hotter, so it's not conducive to wine. So, and this has been going on for a couple of decades now. So there's probably fine wine coming out of Scotland, or finer wine now than there is France. And if you're French in here and you hate me for that, well, just research it yourself. Things are as hot and muggy in Florida right now, as they were in the middle of South America 20 years ago. And it just keeps getting hotter. And another thing I find fascinating is there are days that the Florida temperatures are lower than, I won't say New England, but, definitely the, upper North Carolina, Virginia border sometimes, or Tennessee temperatures will be hotter than Florida temperatures at times. And it's just really bizarre to me. And I've seen that in the winter too. It's been colder here in the winter than some of the northern states. So weather's not all that predictable anymore. Have a good day, Norma. I'm so glad you're here, Claudette. You say hello and goodbye to everybody when I'm just prattling on. Yep, not anymore. I don't know what it is. Yeah, Claudette's unique in that she's in Canada. But I have noticed like the winters are colder than normal than they used to be, and the summers are way hotter. And it seems like, well, in Florida, we don't have a spring and fall. I mean, we never did. We have a rainy season in the spring and, the April showers thing on steroids. And then in the fall, it's hurricane season. We don't have a fall season. And then in between the summer is like, blazing temperatures from hell. And in the winter, it's colder than normal. Of course, I'm glad to see more freezes, even though my body's not used to it and I have arthritis and it kills me. The freezes help control the bugs. And we can get bad insects here. I mean, I've got so many palmetto bug stories, and to ad nauseum. When I was in my 30s, I lived in a mobile home, and the property owner was just, well, he was like a slumlord, and we always had issues. I mean, you can keep a mobile home pristinely clean, and those bugs will eat the glue out of the walls. I mean, it was just horrible. So anyway, and yes, I lived in a mobile home. And God help those of you that judge people that live in mobile homes, because it doesn't dictate a person's morals or standards by what kind of shelter they live in. I will just say that. And so, and I had a lot of people act funny towards me when I lived in the mobile home because of that. And they were absolutely, completely wrong. Yeah, I love going to Crystal. I used to vacation in San Francisco. And the first time I went to San Francisco in the summer, I took summer clothes. And I went to that fort out near the Golden Gate Bridge, Fort Point. And it was barely 60 degrees that day. And it was like 15-mile-an-hour winds. And my goosebumps had goosebumps in the summer in California. But I like sweater weather. I used to have a bunch of leaves in my yard. I lived under a maple tree. And I would get out there in the winter when it would got down to 50, which was cold for Florida. But also I would get out there on days that it froze, and I would just put on long sleeves and I put on gloves. And I really liked doing that work when it was cold. And all my neighbors would look at me like I was nuts. But, they could. That's fine. But it was easier for me to do that work when it was cold. Now, I couldn't do that now. I couldn't rake leaves now for the life of me. But I really enjoyed cleaning that yard in the winter and during cold temperatures. Yeah, and I love, those knit they're not like socks. They're beyond socks. The knee highs that you put on underneath boots that are knit that come up to your knees that are knitted. I love those things. Yeah, and Florida's kind of weird because you'll see people out wearing long sleeves and shorts together. And I don't know why, but now that I'm older, I have neuropathy in my legs and I don't have, I have diabetic nerve pain and neuropathy. So a lot of times I can't feel the colder temperatures on my legs. So sometimes I'll have on, shorts and a sweater because I feel the coldness in my upper body, but not my lower body. And, but I've seen all along in Florida, I've seen younger people who do not have neuropathy wearing shorts with sweaters. I mean, everybody here, if you're smart, you wear like a blouse, a short sleeve blouse, and shorts or jeans or whatever. And then you take a sweater with you. You take, a pullover jacket type sweater, jacket, or raincoat with you. And that way, in the morning, you wear the jacket, and midday, you take it off because it's hot, because the temperature can vary a great deal from the morning to the afternoon here. And I used to, when I lived up north, I'd wear sweater vests. And I love layering clothing. It's just that you don't give a lot of opportunity here. I love sweaters too, and hot chocolate, and I love bonfires where you make s'mores. That's why I like to go to Roll Call Cabins Wiles where he does the campfire, because it reminds me of so many days of my youth or summers. Even when Marty was young, we would go to Girl Scout camp and we would have s'mores and we would have an outdoor fire. Of course, that was here in Florida, and it wasn't as pleasant as having a bonfire up north in the cooler weather. Of course, by the time if you're camping, even if you're in a cabin, the day is so hot, and by the time you get to the evening and get to that bonfire, it feels cooler, but it's not cold. 50, 60, lower 70 degrees with a bonfire is so nice and pleasant. But, if you're doing a bonfire and, it's been mid 90s that day and you're just down to 80, it, for some reason to me, is not as pleasant. Oh my goodness, I've been on here an hour and 27 minutes. Why didn't y'all tell me? It's almost time for a Johnny Cajun Roots Reseller morning show. Him and Mark from Two Old Guys Vintage and Resell do a wonderful show. I'm going to what's going on, Claudette? Yeah, I wear tank tops too sometimes. I don't like to wear them out now because I got the arms, the flappy arms. Oh, but anyway, I'm gonna let you all go. Go over to see Johnny. I don't know if I'll be over there right away. I haven't had my coffee yet. I barely had water this morning. I got up in the middle of the night and did some household chores from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. and then went back to bed exhausted. I knew I had to wear myself out again to go back to sleep. And then I woke up at 6:45, which is unusual for me. But I had a little bit of insomnia last night, which was fine. I worked it out. Thank you so much. Yeah, we're going to go to a Magic the Gathering game today, and that's how we're going to start. And Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and maybe half of Monday, we're going to be chill. But I'll be back on tomorrow morning. You ladies have a wonderful and blessed day, and any gentlemen that are still here.